Jaske.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're here with
I'll be darned.
Bud Jaske, and we're showing him the pictures of his old trucks, and we're just trying to find out which trucks were his, the tractors, where they are today, and so what can you tell us about like the hauler? So these were ones that we printed out just to try to find. So what we did was somehow we got this name or this town. So we went up there last week
Okay.
and
Put on my glasses and I can
here, can you
do that.
can
I'll
you hold that on them?
be able to tell you.
So it's like
Okay.
it's like doing a little investigation, right?
Uh-huh.
So we drove up to this town and we pull into a tire shop and we asked somebody, "Hey, do you know anything about these? Who
Yeah.
owns these or whatever?"
Yeah.
They didn't know anything, but he's like, "Hey, they do tractor pulling over in this town." So then we went over there. We pull into like a driveline shop.
That's okay.
So they didn't know
Over there.
anything either. So the guys
Huh.
there were like, we weren't even born yet in the 80s when this stuff was going on, right? So then I had Bud's Truck Repair. Never even put it together that your name was on one of the pictures. So then we drove over here and we walk in the door and Derek is like, "Hey, look at this. Here's the trucks we're looking for on these plaques out here." I'm like, "No way." So then Sally,
Yeah, we got all the
Sally walked in.
pictures
yeah,
throughout,
exactly, yeah.
kind of. That
She
we,
took us in here and showed us the pictures. I'm like, this is it. So
Well, it used to be a lot of it.
you don't have any of the stuff anymore. Huh?
No, I forgot who bought the tractor, and I sold him. Steve had helped me. Steve's in the opposite side of
And
this
here's
corner
your son that
drove
drove
the
these two.
tractor.
What did you drive? The truck?
The truck most of the time.
The
I
S10?
drove the tractor a couple times, and I drove the two-wheel drive a couple of times.
Okay.
We had a guy, in fact, I looked for him, that helped me build this, and I gotta think of Bob's. Oh boy, you know what the problem is there it is, Robert Healy,
Yeah, he was.
and
So this is the one he's talking about right now. So the
Yeah.
two-wheel drive,
the two-wheel drive.
you would like to find still, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that somehow or the other, Roger, you're familiar, no doubt, with Roger Simon.
Of Simon Says?
Yes.
They're in Iowa.
Have you run into them yet?
Well, that's on my list.
Okay.
We have a list of
What?
about 50 trucks and tractors we want to try
I'll
to
be
find.
darned.
Yeah.
But he's got a whole lot of stuff, and we built two of these, and it was real hard finding that body. In fact, I kind of thought it would really make a neat street rod,
So you built two of the two-wheel drives?
Yes.
Okay.
One had twin engine because we pulled so much for SRO, if you're familiar with them, out of Chicago, and they had another truck that was a Kenworth with twin engines.
Oh, that's Collins. The Budweiser?
Yes.
That's Gary Collins.
Yeah.
He's in Missouri.
Right.
So
Yep.
we're going to go find him one day too.
Oh,
So,
okay. I
yeah.
think he farms yet and stuff, and
Okay.
somehow I ran into him somewhere. Maybe one of the truck shows, and he displayed that a whole lot of
Right.
truck shows.
He uses it in parades out there.
Oh, okay.
I saw recently.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, anyway, they needed a competitive vehicle for that. So that's how we ended up with a twin engine.
Okay.
This being a twin engine at that time. And in fact, Susan, my daughter, who's sitting over here, drove that
Oh, really?
when it was twin engine. And so she drove that, and then we changed it to when that class kind of died, that nobody else got into it much.
Was there a twin engine class?
Barely.
Two-wheel
I
drive?
mean,
Twin engine?
Twin engine.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll just go
Four-wheel
wide.
drive.
Just, like, touch it back.
Four-wheel drive, see, and so that's how we.
Wow, I didn't even know they did twin engine 2-wheel drive.
Only the SRO did.
SRO.
See,
Is that that's a promotion company or something?
that's a
right?
promotion company,
Okay.
which is still around, and
I'd have to look
barely.
them up.
In fact, one of the guys talk about who isn't around, and the guys that ran it, one of them was from Chicago. In fact, they both were from Chicago, and Steve could help you. We'll get you with Steve.
Okay.
He'll. I'm trying to remember his name, who was would organize everything, and at the events and
Okay.
stuff like that. But
Was that different than NTPA and
Oh, yeah.
TNT? They were all separate.
totally separate? See, and that's what we would do. Would be to pull all winter long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this would be a busy time for us.
Right.
Going to all the events.
Indoor stuff, right?
Indoor
Yeah.
stuff. It was almost all. They did a few around Chicago at fairgrounds and stuff like that, but mostly
Rosemont.
Rosemont Horizon.
See, I grew up out east in Maryland and Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
so I saw you guys in Baltimore and Philly
Okay.
when this stuff
Sure.
would come around. And there's a
Yeah.
lot on the East Coast.
But see,
too.
that might have been NTPA.
Mostly
See,
it was.
NTPA
Or U.S.
moved-
Hot Rod Association.
But yeah, same difference.
Oh, it is?
Same difference.
Okay.
And so that is what I can tell you all about that. And the one guy, and I sold it to him for practically nothing because it still had a Aries motor in it on the 4-wheel drive.
The S10?
Yes, and that was remade several different times.
Oh.
Of course. And I'm trying to think. This was one of them. We had an engine builder who was known for building competitive engines
Okay.
for Rowdy Round. And he was from around here.
Okay.
And that's how we got the light tube chassis
Yeah, because you
built
don't see that very often.
around it. Right. We were one of the few that had that. Well, anyway, now I don't remember. And the last time, I think it might have been had some of the light duty, tubing and stuff on it. But a guy up north of here, not very far,
There you go.
and called. You're talking to one of the poor. For a person who's supposed to remember names, but
That's okay.
we worked quite a bit with him, and I stayed friends with him.
That was the chassis
And
builder?
No,
chassis builder?
No, this is who got the truck.
Oh, who got the
Who
truck?
has the truck now? And he just kept it. He hired one of my mechanics, and still does. But
So that's what we would love to do is like go find it. And
it's still in one piece because
Okay.
he just stuck it up in a hole in
perfect.
his shop.
That's what we're
you
looking
know.
for. Like just you walk into like some
But,
barn and see this pulling truck sitting there,
But so, and it still had the Aries engine. in
Okay.
it, and,
Yeah.
I had a mechanic here who would run around the country, which is just fairgrounds. A fairground here and a fairground there, and would run it for a while.
Okay.
And then I think maybe it broke, and I fixed it again
Okay.
just to keep it.
Keep it going.
I couldn't stand to see it, not looking, but yeah.
Do you have any of this equipment anymore? Or is it
No.
all okay?
This is as close as I got. This, I think, Roger Simon
The 2-wheel drive.
might have the 2-wheel drive.
Roger Simon.
Yeah, he's in Farley, Iowa.
Oh,
If
Farley.
you ever
That's where we
come-
went to see the pools, where we saw the Simon Says
Okay,
stuff.
yes. Well, he died. He was kind of heavy, and I was surprised to hear. He's another one of the people that, come and go and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Stewart has still got this,
The 4-wheel drive.
the 4-wheel drive, and he's in. I'll get it all from you because we still do trucking for him.
Okay.
Share back and forth and stuff like that. But I don't think he's 100 miles from here.
Okay.
But
That'd be a fun day then.
Yeah,
We'll get all the
and you
whatever
can get
we
hold
info.
of him, and he's around.
Yep.
And a real nice, and he's similar. He goes to all the polls. In fact, this year he went to Toma with
Okay.
us
Yeah.
because we've been trying to make Toma every year
Yeah.
anyway.
Right. I haven't been to Toma in
and,
a couple years now, so that's the closest one for us. But
Okay.
the big one,
Yep.
So on these other
But,
pages too, I've got the blue ox. I've got so
Darn.
this page just kind of helped us with like who to find people. There was names, and it was like don't forget the blue ox. So then,
Right.
so what happens is when you look up these pictures, when
Uh-huh.
you go online, all these comments are underneath the pictures.
Oh yeah.
And so people put in little stuff like this. Don't forget the blue ox. So then we're like, oh here, Fairway Trucking knows. So that's where we got the name for your place.
Okay.
And then the
okay.
lady up front told us that Pauline, your wife,
That's
she's the
my
one
wife.
that started this, right?
Still, no, she didn't start it.
Oh, she
She
did?
got dragged into it.
Okay.
I took a 4-wheel drive truck and went pulling out here at a county fair. Well, of course, right away the motor wasn't big enough. It was an international pickup, and that's how.
Well, and
that
that's what
was
we
an
have.
international.
That's the blue ox, right?
Yeah.
So
When it was called the Blue Ox, right?
that is just a copy of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was the handout that we had for.
Yeah. So this is a picture I had for
Oh.
20, 30 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I
See,
don't know
would be-
where I got
that would have
this.
been Steve. And
So I must have got this on the East Coast when I was a kid.
anyway, the guy that he didn't take the truck, but he helped build it, and we actually went in the tire cutting business
Okay.
before there were competitive tires. And for me, and his name's Robert Healy, and
Yeah, he's on another picture.
okay, and he built it, and he left me.
So here he is,
Yep,
Robert Healy.
and he probably.
So this is like when you go online and we just put in, I put in like Miller pulling
Oh
trucks.
yeah, here he is.
So this is what came up, and
Here
then, so
he
this
is.
is how we get some
And
of
we
the
were
names.
just at a banquet this weekend, and his name was mentioned at this banquet because my wife used to be part of. We have a county fair, and she's always been involved in everything, and a county fair of their 100th anniversary, which is right across the street practically. And anyway, his name was mentioned as he had 2 sons, and his sons are both in it in pulling now, and it's funny, they were both pictured in, we also belong, because my daughter's in Milwaukee MSOE, which stands for
Milwaukee School of Engineering.
And she went there, and he was covered. He had his picture in there,
Okay.
not with the pulling at all,
Oh.
but with his 2 sons as to the business, and they're just the other side of town here.
So
They're
he's still
on the-
around this area.
Yeah, he's right here. He and his 2 sons. Now, I don't know if but I'll bet if you call, you'd get hold of him.
Okay.
Call the place, but it's called, oh sure, tell me the name of it. And they even mentioned how he used his business cards at one time to get people to come by his place and hired them and stuff like that, Well, then I was looking for him throughout the because I haven't seen him for a while, how
Okay.
people
Yeah.
go, they all, but I used to stop by his place, but it's,
Did he, like,
help build these or make them, or
Yeah,
was
he
just your
made this
driver?
one.
Oh, he made
He
the two-wheel
made that
drive?
one and drove it,
Okay.
both. And then he also made me a tire. We went into the commercial tire business of taking tractor tires and shaving
Cutting
them
them.
just the right.
Yep.
And he made that machine for me, and we sold the machine because nobody wanted to cut tires. Basically, is
Yeah, because you used to run
Because-
like the deep, thick CPAC giant pullers, right?
right.
And now they're all
But
running the cut.
they all
And
run
then tractors,
the
yeah.
tractor tires. The biggest thing was full size tractor tires. Now Firestone makes another brand of tire
Just for pulling.
just for pulling.
Okay, so
With
it's already
real,
shaved.
they're already shaved.
Yeah.
And turned
Saved a lot of work.
turned around, yeah, around. So, but that was yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, I'll think of the name. In fact, I gotta think of the name of the. It's just on the other side of Waukesha here,
Okay.
and he's just a prince of a guy, and I hated to lose him. He went to his own stuff.
And that was Robert Healy.
Robert Healy.
Okay.
And that was when it was an international truck. That's the
So-
old one.
Let me get a picture of this real quick. We'll show what we're looking at. We're going to talk about next. So this is
Yeah. See, that would have been one of the
So
the
I was
SRO shows. See,
curious.
Back
Is,
in those days.
it's an international. Does it have like a square body Chevy grill on it?
It might have.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember for positive that it was
No, is this your truck too?
That's what it started out as.
That's-
That's what the four-wheel pulling started out
Okay.
at.
That's how you
And,
got started in with that truck.
Yeah. I mean, it's already got a Chevy in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we started with the four-wheel
But
drive.
that's the truck you started with, to, like, to start the whole career, like, and it was stock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And it stayed competitive for a long time because show you.
This was just another guy we found, like, up around, I don't know where Arlington, Wisconsin is. But
Oh, just a little bit north and part way up the state. If you're going 90 North Arlington's there.
Because this was
and,
another guy that just popped up, this Foolish Farmer
Yes.
pulling team. You know?
Yes, know them well.
Oh, you do?
And he still his son is still, he pulled it when it was called Foolish Farmer, and now it's his son that is running that now, and they probably have their, Mankey. Mankey
like, was
is
it Dave?
their farm.
Mike.
Yeah, well, there was two, his father and son, and Mike is his son.
Okay.
Mike is his son, and they're just up the road, and I'm sure, if you wanted, and he's still staying in the four-wheel drive. In fact, he's been quite competitive.
Because he was
with
up
that
at Toma and
tractor.
everything. So,
Yes.
Yeah, he's
He
pretty
still
current.
runs. So he still runs competitively
Mm-hmm.
now. So, but that reminds me of, I'll have to ask Steve about, I'm upset with the fact there's his truck
The 79.
before
yeah.
And,
I think he's got a newer one than this, too,
yes.
right?
Yeah, but if you talk to them, they just work out of the farm and farm. And there's Steve. And when this was the first of the tractors, when we built it, John Shaw. If
which one we're looking at here.
if you've seen John Shaw's name
John
back in the 80s, and when banners were pulling.
Oh, banners, yeah.
Well,
They still are,
obviously
I think,
are.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Either the Anglers or the Banters are still going.
Anglers.
They're still going. They have a
Engler
shop and
is,
everything.
and he's got a shop
Yeah.
down in Iowa. I've been
Right,
there.
it's not that far away, right? A couple hours maybe?
It's pretty far down in Iowa.
Hey, it's good enough
I
for a
got
road
a-
trip, Joe.
Yeah,
right?
but anyway, we copied John Shaw's because that's how he built a 3-area tractor before we changed it to 4 and 5.
Oh, you guys had a 5-engine tractor?
Yeah, right. Let's see, I think that bottom picture.
Let's see this.
on there. See, it's got,
Oh, yeah.
if you count them, there's 5.
Yeah, there's 5 on there. Oh, wow. Is that the same chassis as the one with the 3? Or
It was and it wasn't. I mean, we kind of started that way, and then had to get a better. In fact, we ended up with a banner chassis.
oh, okay.
Somebody else had a banner chassis.
You start putting that much
And
power.
well,
on it.
you right. You got to keep it. You know, they twist so much.
Oh yeah.
So, but
Do you have a model? So this was a picture of a model that came out.
oh, okay.
Do
We
you
still
have that model?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Where you put it
You
together?
want one?
I'll take one.
This is my wife, Pauline.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Do
How you doing?
I
She's
see
the
you're
one that
standing
would-
here for, didn't you offer them chairs? I mean,
Oh, no,
like,
this
that's
is
fine.
good. We're,
we're
move
fine.
my
We're-
stuff.
We're
We're
getting some
fine.
pulling history here.
Oh,
So.
When
Yeah,
we were
that would
cleaning-
be the wife reaction, right? Like, oh, here we go. Like,
When we
what?
were cleaning the basement the other day, looking for that tarp, I came across that case of tractor models.
Oh,
Right.
you have some?
Yeah. So,
Hey, I'll
There
trade
you
whatever
go.
you want for
they're
it.
extremely valuable.
I know. They're over like $125 on eBay.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And Steve was thinking, oh, we'll sell them. Well, he doesn't get around to doing it. But yes, I know right where they are. in fact.
Okay. Hey, I'll take
But-
you up on that. Whatever you
Okay.
want for it, let me know.
Okay, maybe you can make some money with
Well,
them.
I'll
see?
put it together and bring it back and have you sign it. That'd be cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I never put one
actually, I thought
together.
they are
Oh, you-
together. Are they
No,
once they put
no,
together? I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
So anyway, what's Healy's?
Business Superior Crane.
What's the name?
Superior?
Superior Crane.
Crane.
Superior Crane. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
So
right around here somewhere.
I said just on the other side of town.
Mhm.
They're not probably 2 miles from here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you talk to them, and you'll get their boys right away. Then their boys were little
Well,
kids
actually,
when
though, Fred
was
was your
working.
chief mechanic after that.
Huh?
After Bob left,
Right.
Fred was your chief mechanic, and
Right.
he's also around here.
Right.
Okay.
And Fred, who just went and retired, he's a farm boy,
Okay.
and I think this is his first month of retirement. It really killed me, but he could build also, and another guy that knows them all, because I hired him because he married one of my daughters, works in the shop too,
Okay.
and used to work for I want to say not Banners, McPherson. What's McPherson? Dick McPherson.
That one I don't know.
Okay. He was a
Another-
modified tractor puller,
Okay.
and he worked for
McPherson.
him. Hmm.
Do you remember what the name of the tractor was?
He'll know.
Oh, Healy?
Huh?
Robert Healy will know, or?
No,
Or this
yes,
is-
he would know too. He kind of he was a farmer also, and he came. In fact, he came from me from one of those big farms
Mhm.
that were out west of Madison, and but you can. He hung around a whole lot of these tractor pullers. So if you're not in a big, obviously in
Yeah.
a big rush, he could tell you a whole lot of stuff. But he married my daughter, and
What's his name? What's his name?
Mel Dawson,
Dawson?
Dawson,
Dawson.
and he worked with us for quite a while after. I think after Robert left us, Robert Healy left us. But if you try Superior Cranes, and they make these big overhead cranes, and what's funny, now we ride motorcycles once in a while for this MSOE, Milwaukee School of Engineering. Well, they got a old Min's, and 2 different places we've been have had their cranes in there. Oh, we know who makes those cranes, which is really neat. I'm glad for him. he does well. I'm sure he does well making these big overhead cranes in factories. But if you call, if you just look it up, in fact, I give you the phone number. I'm sure it's in the Waukesha phone book. And
Oh, for Superior Crane?
yes,
Oh, yeah, we could find that. So,
Yeah.
Mel Dawson, who was he again now? He was
okay.
like related.
He came here from Iowa, Illinois, and he worked for. I should get him in here. He's working on a project I got going now
Oh, he's
out
here?
in the shop. Yeah, he
Oh.
works for me. He didn't want to drive truck anymore over the road,
Okay.
so I said, well, how about I lost this guy, and I knew he knew how to aluminum weld, and that's our trouble. We do so much aluminum
Trailers,
here,
yeah.
aluminum trailers.
Yeah.
So in fact, right now we got an aluminum floor trailer that got screwed up, and that. So
Like a walking deck?
a walking floor.
Yeah.
A walking floor, and I had somebody else put it together for me, and well,
That's gotta be
it got
a lot.
out of. Well, you'll
Just
see it
like
if
it's not.
it's all laying out here in the yard, but that he can weld the tubes together and knows how to do all that sort of
Did
stuff.
he build some of the tractors or the
No,
trucks?
not of mine.
Okay.
Not of mine, but he did do. I'll get him, and you can just question him all you want. I don't care. But he worked with.
Was it Banner Brothers, you said?
No. I want to say not Healy. No, that's his name. He'll help you. He's a good man to have a memory.
Okay.
He's younger, but so anyway, he works here for half days for me to keep my ends
going.
going.
Yeah.
While I've got a couple of mechanics, but it's tough when you run 40 trucks. So
So, yeah.
about 40 now. So yeah.
So, do you remember what year it was you built the Blue Ox? Like when did you start doing all this? Early 80s or
Early.
70s?
Yeah, late 70s.
Late 70s?
Uh-huh.
So, and that was the
So-
beginning of it, right? Late 70s for the four-wheel drive trucks?
Mhm.
So where did you get the axles that you wanted?
I bought from one of my other guys that worked for me, knew a drag racer that was a friend of his, and he knew that he was quitting, and so that's where I got my first motor, was a drag race motor, a
Okay.
small block, a big block Chevy.
It was a
And
427.
that's what
wasn't it?
those were. Yeah, it probably was bigger than that, but a little bigger than that. It didn't work over and stuff like
no
that.
blower on those, right?
No, not to start with.
Like basically a pro
course.
stock motor.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You
And
can
then-
see it because they had, two wheels.
I saw a picture of the
was.
Blue Ox. Did you make an extended, a super modified Blue Ox?
That's how we ran SRO. Okay,
And the
I would
axle was
take
kicked
one
back
guy-
on the back of the.
and we could take the in between classes. That'd be the second class. We would I made the spline. I made a spline that they'd go out to about 3.5, 4 feet, and we could slide them right out the back.
Slide the axle back?
In between classes.
Oh, wow.
So in about 5 minutes we could, and put a blower on. We'd take a blower and set it right on top of the natural aspirated engine and make it long and running so that we ran SRO. And I don't know that I even got any pictures of us doing that.
I have a
But-
picture of the super modified. There's one online you can find.
Okay,
Sitting in a
okay.
parking lot.
Okay, but that's what it would be.
Oh,
So
wow.
we
Same
drove-
truck, you would
Same
just-
truck, but we take
Two
it
classes.
to make the second class. You had to have a blower. It was a
Right.
blower class,
Mhm.
so you weren't competitive with a natural aspirated motor.
Yeah.
So we'd take a blower and plop it on, and change the gear ratio. We had a SRO transmission that we could just
Slide the gears
slide
in
the
and
gears in,
Yeah.
and
And then drive shaft would slip that long
and
too?
slip that long. I found a guy that made long spline, you know.
Oh, okay.
And
That was strong
he
enough,
made,
obviously.
yeah, and made them. Yeah, if you see the picture, it's just one
It's
long
like a-
spline
It's
deal.
like a set of wheels on a trailer. Pull the pins and
Slide it back.
slide
yeah,
it back for you.
yeah, just similarly.
That's cool.
So-
Similarly is that.
What did you use for a front axle then? Because
Same front axle.
like a Dana
We wouldn't
60 or
change
something?
it. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
held up to the
Mhm.
blower and everything?
hmm
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty damn strong.
Because
Because
it looked like they were
I don't
using
think
Dana
I
80s.
ever broke an SRO. You know, there'd be a 60 model. You know,
And
like,
that's all it
like
would
a
be.
1-ton truck
Yeah.
would take in the front end, because you don't pull near as much with the front end.
Even with all that weight
Lots.
hanging over it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'm trying to remember, but I don't ever remember.
Really? And then lockers, or just use a spool?
Just use the spool. We also change the pumpkin if we had time. Depends
Oh,
on the
with your
class.
ratio in there.
But usually the indoor shows would be one right after the other. But
And it's shorter track too, right? Because you run 150 feet versus what, 300 at like a
yeah,
county
right,
fair.
right. That didn't, yeah,
So
that
that all
didn't
had
make
to
any
play into.
difference.
Oh, that didn't make really.
Mhm.
Because of the way the sled would come up, it would all be the same.
Yeah, it
Thanks
worked.
for
It
gearing.
would work. Yeah.
Okay.
I can show you some stuff, or I'll get these models here that you're interested in, and of the tractor. A bunch of people brought them back because we sold them at a bunch of the at SRO. You could sell your T-shirts and your paraphernalia. Well, so that's how I ended up making that. It was Ertl that made out of Iowa that made the models, you know, and shipped us models.
Were they
all the
metal
time.
models too?
No, plastic.
Oh, plastic that you put together.
That you could,
Right.
anybody could put together. I never had any put together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to do one day when I.
Yeah. It's
But,
pretty funny because I don't know of any other models that have a pulling tractor.
I
But
gotta
that was,
think.
that was made
Yeah.
from it, you know.
Yeah, I can't think of any. I don't.
And you
No,
had
Gary.
one made of your tractor.
Yeah,
That's pretty,
well, they were interested in it,
That's
and
pretty
so it
amazing,
was
isn't it?
pretty good.
yeah.
In fact, they would send what they modeled or what they made and sold. We got a percentage of, which was really
Yeah, that
nice.
helps.
Yeah, everything helps, you know.
And then what about the 80s like Dodge 4x4? The
I,
Meisterbrow.
we were at I think at Detroit, and one of the people from Dodge was there, you know, being close to you know, the downtown, where when you were pulling at the Kingdom at that time or whatever.
Yeah.
And I says, you should have that be a Dodge. And I says, well, you give us a Dodge body and we'll change it over to a Dodge.
Oh, so the Blue Ox
So that's how
had
it got to
switched
be.
to a Dodge body.
So that's how it ended up with a Dodge
Okay.
on that.
And Derek
So-
was reading that. What was it about the Miller High Life? It was something, and then
The Golden Ox.
Just, yeah, Miller wanted different names. So this one, I think, and it was a Blazing Bison.
yeah, that's what I had
And,
on.
we had to have names
These last
for
two
their
pictures, it was two
for
different
their
tractors.
models or for their stuff, you know, as they were advertising. You know,
So,
yes,
We
it
have
would have
that
been right
without the
across there.
Meisterbrow stuff on it,
Yeah.
and then the picture before it. It's the same tractor, right?
Yeah,
And then you just
we
had all the
Blazing
Meisterbrow.
Ball, yeah, and you don't have pictures of it as. See, this was 3. It was just
Yeah,
3
I
and
don't have a picture of
when
the 5.
we were you know, to be competitive in SRO, of course, with banners and
Yeah.
Dick McPherson. That's the name that you can talk to Mel about. He's been around because he used to travel with McPherson. That's how we got to happen to know him.
Did McPherson, what did he drive? He had
He had a 5-engine,
a 5-engine?
5-engine Rodex.
Oh, jeez. And is
Rodex.
Dick McPherson still around?
No, he died.
He died, okay.
Yes,
See, that's why-
I'm finding that out. I think Mel might have went to his funeral. I'm not sure. You can ask him about it. But I know that he
Sorry.
passed on. I think he got cancer. And
Well, that's what's another thing that's doing this too, is because when Alan died with the Blossom,
mhm.
I'm like, all the guys that started this are getting up in age, you know, and
Yeah.
I really want to
Yeah.
talk to these original guys.
I feel like an old. How do you feel like when you've been there and done that and
Yeah.
stuff? But a lot of them, and.
Because all the,
So,
they're all getting to be about 80 now, I would think.
Oh yeah, I'm
So-
well in my 80s.
Well in your 80s, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Still working though.
85.
Really? What
good.
keeps you coming to work every day?
I don't know. When you got all of this stuff, you know what I mean? And we've made it all, you know what I mean? And
From
we
your-
still, what we fix up and do, and all the people you've met, is really neat,
Yeah.
and stuff. One of our biggest lucky, I guess, was when we got Miller Brewing, and that was just a freak thing. Of course, Miller being in Milwaukee,
Okay, yeah.
and one of my good friends, and he's still my friend in church, his daughter happened to be friends with the daughter of at the time.
Is Susan in there?
No, she isn't.
Thought maybe she'd be babysitting you. All right, thanks.
We'll cut that
My
out.
youngest daughter. She's who's married to
Oh, okay.
Mel. So, but anyway, his wife was, I got to think of the guy's name, who was the sports promoter at Miller. And he'd been to a couple of my pulls. When you're around town, you give everybody tickets
Okay.
and stuff like that, and they happened to come. And by God, if they didn't get interested in it, in the 4-wheel drive, and then
That was first?
yes, and then
Oh, the S10, yeah.
yeah, and so Steve, my son, who you're welcome, he's got a better memory than me, that we talked him into, we could really be at the top of the classes if we had a super modified, and they came to,
And the sponsorships and all that.
and the sponsorships and what you ended up doing for that sponsorship. You just think, oh, it's nothing to it. Well, I'll tell you what, on Tuesdays of the week, you'd be in Thursday be it Philadelphia or Atlanta or wherever at their people, because SRO was so big. See, they were promoting in every one of these cities, be it
Yeah, all the big cities.
all the big cities they were in. See,
Midwest,
well,
over to the east,
right,
basically.
and they'd come to or they would have us show up with the 2 different vehicles, and a lot of them want your tractor, to hear your tractor
Right,
run
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
So you would do that at all these promoters, at the local biggest promoters in all those different cities. So.
So was that like added on to your workload? Did it make
Oh
it
yes,
way
it made part of your workload. You got so much money from Miller, and it was
You gotta do it.
nice. It was nice, but not anything like you would think.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
You hear these $1 million promoter cars and
Like
stuff like
NASCAR
that.
and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
tractors were never like that.
Right.
We were the first SRO sponsored vehicle, and especially the same thing would end up happening in the summertime, you know, they'd have people coming around and hand out tickets at the promoters for going to the events, because in the summertime, the same events, a lot of them, the state fairs, Iowa, Ohio, Indianapolis, and on were all
Big ones.
USA. Yeah, were big ones, and
US Hot Rod?
No, not U.S. Hot Rod. See, they didn't do much. They did a little bit, but U.S. Hot Rod did just a few events, but they just stuck to their big buck, having 100,000, or not 100,000, but 50,000 people at the Superdome and,
Yeah, Superdome.
and stuff like that. You know, that'd be the places you'd go. The Metrodome in Madison, in Minneapolis. Those would be the ones you would go to for them. See, they could sell the monster, and then of course
They had monster trucks and all that
monster
stuff.
trucks came,
Yep.
and that was, there's very little pulling. You know, we were lucky in the area that we were in, that we were fortunate enough to, you know, to be there at the right time
Yeah.
to do one. It also made us a lot more competitive when we would pull all winter and then go to the summer. Why, you know, we were
Oh, you got practice all winter basically.
we got
right?
practice all winter long.
You had what, 90
Same
events?
thing.
Like 90 to do?
In a year,
Yeah.
for sure.
And did you drive to them all? Because nowadays people
Yeah.
fly and stuff. And
No, we
Yeah.
drove. We had semis.
With that?
That was one of the first ones, and I bought that from a guy that was also a puller, and he somehow he had an in with GMC to get their trucks that had run on the test tracks, and so you could buy the truck from him for practically nothing, and we put the body on it and made living quarters in the front part and put the tractor in the back. And then we pulled a trailer with 4-wheel drive in it, see? So that's how we did all of that.
That'd be a neat
see,
looking
to
rig
make
going
it
down the
all.
road.
Yeah. Well, then we bought
Is this truck still around, you think?
I don't know. I know the guy that bought it, and whether he's out of Iowa, and I know he's in the trucking business, and he hauls steel, and I can't remember the name of his,
It's not. It's not this guy, right? Bill Bedell.
no,
There was another name.
yeah. Steve would know because he pulled.
Oh,
And if I
Steve-
asked Steve,
okay.
my son,
It'd just be neat to see if it's still
no,
around or not.
no.
Okay.
But I know he bought it and used it. He just had one 4-wheel drive, and he had a steel hauling business out of eastern, where all the steel was, you know, manufactured and shipped out of. And he still got that business of, and I see him all the time. Every time we go to a truck show, he'll be there.
You remember what his name was?
No. You want an honest answer? Steve would remember.
Okay.
Gary Carlton, and I forgot the name of his darn.
Yeah, I know. I do that too now.
Eat that. Come on.
So, did you guys build these by hand, or how did the?
Well, the blowers
how do
you
you
can
build
buy.
something like that?
The blowers you can buy.
Like the tractor itself, though. You
I
had
had a guy, and what's really interesting is what he does now. All of a sudden, his name is Rick Kipley,
Okay.
and he built Shaw's engines. If you're familiar with Walsh's,
Yeah, that's the Irish
Jim
Challenger,
Walsh,
right?
Exactly. Plus, they have a 2-wheel drive.
We're gonna
That's
go
the
see
other.
them too, because they're not too far.
They're
away.
not too far up.
They're Wisconsin too, right?
Yes.
Walsh.
Yeah. Walsh.
Walsh Brothers.
Yes.
Right.
Walsh, and it was Jim and Dave, the two brothers, and they had a 2-wheel drive and a
And a multi-engine.
and a multi-engine 5-engine
Yeah.
that Rick Kipley built all those engines, and then they bought turbines, and they weren't at what fooled us. They weren't at Toma. You know, they live right by Toma. They're just a few miles
From Toma.
from Toma, a little south of Toma is where, and they got a big business of grain selling and
Yeah, 'cause that's all
modifying.
farms all around there.
But that's who would be interesting to see. Now they still got. I don't know if I haven't seen any of the two-wheel drive anymore, but he had it. Jim had that one. Dave had the modified, which is a turbine now.
They had trucks too.
Huh?
They had
Yeah,
trucks.
Jim did. He had a two-wheel drive, and he pulled a lot competitively on the TV circuit.
Okay.
You know, when they were pulling, and he and I don't know if how Dave is connected with the grain business or not. I heard their dad had passed away, and yeah, they're. But anyway, Rick Kipley, to go back to Rick Kipley, built all these engines for all these pullers.
Okay.
And he built my natural aspirated, and there was a time that I had a 4-cam engine in that, and then the same year that I got a 4-cam in four-wheel drive, the U.S. Hot Rod outlawed it.
They had
It was.
like Aries had 4 cams.
Yes.
Were they
it was
overhead?
Huh?
Was it an overhead cam system?
Yes.
Really?
Of really neat. It was 4 cams that were all belt driven, and
Okay.
Rick could put those together. And I've kind of stayed in touch with Rick just because he's such a neat guy. He's just one of
We
the
need to talk to
super
him.
people. Yes, if you can find him, I'll give you his. And you know what he's building now is dragsters. He's building small engines for snowmobile drag engines. And I didn't know there was such a class.
Oh yeah.
And well, I mean, these are fast. They're like, Steve can even give you the name of the company. I'll find it somewhere. I try to keep it so that I can. But anyway, he goes over.
So- That would have been a 4-cam?
No.
Or just the
No,
truck?
just the truck. Just the truck, and I never had a picture of it.
Oh, really?
Isn't that something?
Okay. Now, what
But it
were
was-
these? Were these Rodex?
Those are just Aries. Regular,
all Aries?
Just Aries, yeah. Natural
Well, they had
aspirated.
like a big block Chevy with a Hemi head on it, right? Isn't that what made it an Aries?
Yeah. No, not at all the time. Aries made their own block.
Right.
Aries made their own block and head. But those Chevy head ones, I had one of those too.
They made a Chevy style head.
They go on an Aries. Yeah.
Okay. And then they made the Hemi head too.
Right.
Right. But this is what most
But
people
Aries,
run.
that's what most people run.
Okay.
And still do. I mean, there's still some around.
Mm-hmm.
They're more scarce because I think Nick Aries passed away, and Rick and I had gone out and visited with them and
Where are they at?
stuff
Where's
like
their
that.
area set?
They're right in California.
Oh, California. Yeah, we ain't
Yeah.
going there.
That's on
Not
the
gonna
bottom
go
of the
that
list.
far. And I don't think that they're
Well, who knows? Maybe. Someday.
maybe getting the Aries business. But I have to give you that off. Here it is. Anyway, he all of a sudden, and I don't know, he made all the engines one year when when Kenseth, who was out of Wisconsin,
I remember
you know,
that. Yep.
okay, yeah, he made all the, he was running, at the time, anyway, he was running his small Chevys. They were running small Chevys in
Like a
what
lower
they
class
call
or something?
it? One class lower. And, yeah.
Well, it used to be Bush back then.
Right,
Or
Bush
Arca.
and whatever. But he made them, and I don't know if maybe that hurt him trying to keep up.
Oh.
But he was shipping those out, one a week. He had to have done, and in Kipley's shop, and had run, and he had a dyno in his shop. It was his dad's farm.
Wow.
That the chicken shed was remodeled into having all the stuff to build these engines,
Cool.
plus our engine, our engines and everybody else's. But you talk about, anyway, now I found out where he's at, and he's working at a place. He lives in Belleville, which is just the other side of Madison. But here's his, let's see if I can find this.
He works in Belleville.
He lives in Belleville.
Or lives in.
Lives in Belleville. And I don't know, boy, if this is his, I should have his, isn't that awful? I think that might be his new address. And if you tell him I told you to call or whatever. Anyway, we can copy it or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, he made all of Walsh's engines. He made all of ours. He made all of Shaw's. He made a whole bunch of he was even, the guy's a walking genius. He could supercharge Allison engines and make them run. And there was quite a while
Because it's
Allisons
a round blower
were
for
in.
those, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Did you ever run an Allison?
no,
No. That's a whole different
a
animal. isn't
whole
it?
different world.
Yep.
But he could make those things run, and he could make this this thing of mine that he made for me, this 4-belt.
Is that what? Is there
He
belts
made
in
it.
there that put all that together?
Huh?
Or is there chains in there? That,
No, belts.
It's all belts.
It was all belts.
See, that's what I
And
want to do. Is I
that's-
want to see one of these and like, how does all that work? Like, how does all that?
Well, the engines, the Aries engines are just pushrod engines.
Right.
They're nothing,
I'm saying linking all those together, and then you turn one sideways.
Oh, that's simple though.
Really?
Yeah, because you're just using a gear drive for all of that, and some angler's the one that's making them, making cross boxes and couplings where the one drives into the other, but to make like when you've got 4
Yeah, right.
like that, they just turn them sideways and run them together.
What kind of a box is it? Like when?
It's just a little small aluminum box this size that is full of gears, and
But when
put
these
those
first started
together.
coming out, somebody had to make
Mhm.
that. Is it a
Mhm.
part off of a tractor that
No.
they modified, or is it a special,
just a special made aluminum turn.
Okay.
And
I never thought about it until I got older. I'm like, how do they?
Yeah, it was just a small 3-gear box.
Almost like a rear end. You
Yeah.
put one in,
Yeah,
kick
but
two
they were
out,
so small. They were only that size.
and it would take all that power.
Yeah. I don't think I got any of them left. I think I sold them all. The ones that I had.
Yeah. And it was
And,
belts driving the whole thing.
Huh?
Like blower
Yeah.
belts
Yes.
that wide.
Little ones, littler ones, and they were. It was trick. Nobody else had anything like that. Well, they outlawed it real quick, because they just felt it would be so competitive.
Oh,
with,
really?
With all those valves, but Rick could put all that together. Anyway, now he's making these motors for these drag snowmobiles
yeah.
that are huge, and the shop is right over, not far from Madison.
Okay.
Or Madison,
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin,
Uh-huh.
just up the interstate.
Yep.
And if he tells you where he works, you could go by the place, and he'd probably show you. I forgot the name of it.
I think we're going to do that one
I
day,
took
right?
I took Steve with me, and I took my buddy that bought my
Was that
4-wheel drive.
this piece of paper? Is that his address?
What's that now? Let's see.
Well, that's where he lives, probably, right? Belleville.
Belleville is where his house is, and it's all the way on the other side of Madison. So he's got kind of a
It'd be
drive
kind of weird for us to
around
go up, like, somebody's
Madison.
house.
Madison.
Sun Prairie, Madison.
Yeah, it's not. Anyway, but when we found out, he says, "Hey, come," and here he showed 4 of us, because I took the guy that was building my engines, and Steve and me. I forget who. 3 or 4 days a week or something like that. At this, Steve might remember what the name of that engine place is. But he built all these pulling engines, and I mean, just he could make any, and especially getting these Allisons modified. You know, I think one time I had a torch cutting machine, and I cut out rocker arms for Aries engines one time here.
Wow.
You know, but he could do
Genius with that stuff.
a genius. He really is. I mean, you talk about a person who can make all of this stuff work, you know, and
That's what I really
and
like.
that.
Is like the engineering in this. Is,
But if you got a camera and they'll let you take pictures of it,
Yeah.
the things are about 10 or 12 foot long. These snowmobiles.
Yeah, they have to real.
And I do.
oh really?
Yeah, you should see
So they
it.
put like big tracks on
Like
the
I said,
back.
it's like
And a
rocket
big
ship.
track with studs. We used to race snowmobiles. It's up there. You can see where snowmobile racing
Oh yeah.
is.
Did a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah. So Steve, my son Steve, and I had a friend out here, his son, all raced snowmobiles, but that's a picture they gave me because I never kept it. But,
So are you like with all the drag racing stuff? Are you just a general racing fan?
oh yeah,
Okay.
we can still go.
It's all
to
the
the-
Bobby Allison over here. Did you meet Bobby?
Yes, we did, and
Really?
that was after he'd had his accident and stuff
Okay.
like that. And
Yeah.
he signed. He came to this promoter of Miller's, and he was there. And so
Oh
we got
yeah, that's
to-
right. He was Miller car.
And
Yep, that makes
and
sense.
He was Miller. See,
Right,
and
22,
he was
right?
the prime guy that Miller had really stuck
yeah.
money into.
Oh, big time.
At that, and, you know, and that, yeah. Proud of that picture, for sure.
Who else famous did you get to meet over the years?
Oh, a lot of the drag guys,
stuff?
yeah. Drag
Through the
stuff.
pulling or through the Miller or?
More through the Miller. I mean, I met all the pullers. You know, you'd meet them
Yeah.
because you'd be there.
Right.
But you'd go to all these places. Like we would have to display after we went to the Ohio State Fair. We had to go up to Michigan and promote at the Michigan 500, whatever the race at the Roundy. We had to display there.
Yeah.
You know, that was just one more place. Nobody'd ever seen anything like this.
Right, yeah.
You know, drag stuff. So
So why do you think the indoor pulling ended?
monster trucks.
Uh-huh.
And I've got two great grandchildren who they're playing with their monster
Oh,
trucks. You know, and monster trucks took over.
When Bigfoot first came out, that was like the biggest.
Oh yeah,
deal
see,
ever.
monster truck,
Oh,
Bigfoot would show up
Yep.
at our events.
right.
But that's all they do is jump a little bit and
Over the
jump
cars,
a car.
and that's
that
it.
was it.
Even slow, just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
sit on top,
Oh yeah.
go
Yep,
off, and that was it. Yeah.
That was it. And of course, they what you know what they are now. You know,
Yeah, crazy now.
crazy. You know.
It's funny. I'm watching a bunch
So-
of old stuff, and the places are packed. Every seat is just packed, right? And that's what, as a kid, when I would sit in those stands and see these trucks with these massive engines, you know, it just gets your mind going. And like, kids
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have that
That's
nowadays.
No.
And
don't-
they just see
don't
monster
see
truck, well, that's
them.
not even attainable. The stuff
Yeah.
you guys were
Yeah.
doing was somewhat attainable, and it got
Oh,
your
here.
mind going with
Here's yours.
you know,
I'll
just
get you that stuff
indoor
that you-
power and like just all the. It was so cool back then, you know.
Yes,
Like,
it is, and it's still they do well. All the summer drag.
I wonder
Bowling
now, like,
Green.
why don't they bring it back in the winter? Bring back an indoor pulling series.
Yeah, don't know.
I think kids would love it.
Don't know. Yeah, of course those monster trucks are awful. As you well know, or
They're big,
big
big
thing.
bucks. Yeah.
Build models and colors and
Yeah.
everything for them. So, but like I say, we were there when it was a lucky time.
Yeah, right.
Bigfoot was the only.
Mhm.
And he'd come to all events. They'd have him
Yep.
come to all events.
I
so.
still have my first pictures of me. All you can see is the little lights across the top, but that was the main.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys would line up along the edges.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
each one would pull out
yeah,
its own way.
yeah.
So. Well, cool.
So,
Well, so you don't have nothing left. None of the trucks or tractors, huh?
just sold them all. I should have kept an Aries engine.
No,
just
you don't.
to,
Oh, no
just
engines.
to set
no
it
nothing,
here.
huh?
And,
Yeah. You know what happened to that blue ox or the
oh yeah, the Blue Ox. I was telling you, it's just up north of here. The truck, the 4-wheel drive truck.
Here, I'm
It's
gonna write
at,
that down. Where's that at? Or, I don't know if I put it on my notes here.
They'll have the
Who has who has that now? You remember?
I didn't know as well as my.
Oh, would Steve know?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, the girls out here know because they bill them.
It would be neat to
But,
see it again. That's another thing we're gonna do is like talk to the people and then
Uh-huh.
see if we can
Yeah.
find these things again,
Yeah.
even if they're sitting in a corner full of dust.
Yeah.
We need to
Oh,
see
it'll be full of dust.
Yeah.
I think.
That's
But,
cool.
but he still sits it.
I think they're all like
around,
that. I mean,
you know.
I was shocked when we saw the blossom,
blossom, yeah.
just sitting in the corner of a
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
big barn and it
Funny,
all
yep.
dirt, dusty, just
Oh yeah, I imagine.
sitting there.
That was too bad that when I heard that, because when you were SRO, that was all he pulled.
Yep.
Was his the Blossom, and what was the other thing that he had?
You got the Midnight Express, the
Yeah.
dual engine
Yeah.
23.
That's-
We got to sit
yeah.
in that too, because that's in the same shop. So the guy that owns the Blossom
I'll be darned.
owns
Owns both.
both, and then
Huh.
we found out the other two, the 2-wheel drive Blossom is in Georgetown, Kentucky,
Oh.
and the 4-wheel drive super modified is down there too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna get a
Yeah,
hold of
because
those
he
guys.
used to be competitive
Still,
with
yeah,
that.
the Dews and all
With
them. I
that,
think
you know,
one of
and
the Dews
we'd
brothers.
run with him, you know, in super modified all the time,
Yeah.
and then we'd go and stretch it out. And,
That's
and
crazy.
run it.
I never
But,
did anybody else do that? Or you-
No. Nobody
I never
ever,
heard of that.
nobody ever did that beside us, and we would just dominate. You can imagine having a long wheelbase with all these guys with just a blower on their
Oh, okay.
truck. No, nobody ever touched us on that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
See, that's why we were doing this stuff. We wanted to like hear these stories, you know.
I
Stuff you
can't
never heard
believe
of.
it.
Yeah.
I
Would
can't believe
never
it.
have known that you had stretched it out.
Let me find you Mel here, and if you
Top.
cans on top, that was a
Yeah.
SRO show.
No, is that your son driving?
Yes. Yeah, he drove most of the time. Almost all.
And what about this one?
That was me.
Is that you driving?
Yeah.
No helmet.
No helmet. No, not in it.
It's got a big glare on it. Let me see if I can get it.
Sorry about that.
It's so funny. Look at this. No roll cage over this one.
Oh yeah. That was back in the days before then.
Did something happen that they made the cages happen? Because that's usually how
Yes.
things go, right?
Yes, they did. In fact, Walsh's were one of the ones that had a bad accident with their modified. I don't know what
Is that
it
where the
all
sled
turned
broke?
in. Yeah.
I watched one where the sled broke,
and he ran away
Yeah.
with it and crashed.
So that's the one you started with.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, there's.
That we went to Rotterdam.
Team Bud.
Rotterdam. We went both to Rotterdam and Hawaii.
Where's Rotterdam? Is that Germany?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Here's a guy you want to talk to. Yeah, it was. These guys are just taking histories of tractor pulling. I was telling them how you work with Bruce. And I can't remember his name. I couldn't remember half the names, but Bruce is.
Bruce Hutcherson,
Yeah, Bruce Hutcherson.
What did he do?
making bacon special.
That's
okay.
Now you know.
That's
or
a
whatever.
recent one too, right? Is he still running that?
No.
He's retired. He's even.
You
passed
said he
away.
passed away.
He passed away.
Sorry if we put you on camera.
told me.
I don't care.
Here, I'm
Might break your
gonna give this to
camera.
you, and I'm gonna take some
I'll
notes.
get you some of the crap we got, but you can ask him about as many questions as you ask me. So, now, trouble you're in.
Well, I tell you what, real quick, can you anything else about these? Like, that's probably your son driving, right?
No, I think that was me driving that time, and that was I think at an SRO show.
This is one I remember. That's so cool.
Uh-huh.
So that's the same blue ox.
Same old blue ox. Yeah.
Dodge gave it to you.
Did it take a long time to do the body swap?
Medium.
I was gonna say probably not. If you could put
This
5
one,
engines together.
this one we got for went in class at SRO.
Even made off-road magazine.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
You probably don't have a picture of the Express with the twin engines on it.
No, I
Susan was running
don't.
that.
He told us
Somewhere
about that,
along.
but I've never seen it. We'll have to look, do
Well,
some
it was
deep
just
diving on that.
competitive, and it was with Gary Collins. You know, that was a class. That's why we built it.
What was the name of that truck?
I think
It was just like a Miller.
I think so. Miller Express. I think maybe it was
Miller
Miller
Express?
Express. Yeah.
And that was a 2-engine truck.
Mm-hmm.
What was the body?
4-wheel drive. It was the same as this. It was the same as this, only with 4 engines.
Oh, it's 4-wheel drive.
Yes, that was 4-wheel drive.
2-engine 4-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. I'll get you my.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
I thought there was
Budweiser.
one of those flyers in there, but I didn't see one with the twin engine.
Oh yeah, I'll get those. There's some flyers in there yet?
You remember
There's
that?
one
It
of
was a
the-
semi that had 2 engines.
The Fox.
Called the Budweiser Boss.
Yeah, that
I'll get
nice
that.
red one.
The red one, the red and white one. Yeah. So what was your name again?
Mel Dawson.
Mel Dawson. So what we're doing is we went and found the Orange Blossom Special about 2 months ago, and so when Alan died, you know, I've loved that truck ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, we used to pull. When I worked for Bruce, yeah, we used to pull in this alley. Where he was about 20 miles from where Bruce's place is at. Bruce is just on the other side of the river. He's in Indiana.
And Bruce Hutchinson. Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
And what did he do?
He was
Making bacon.
making bacon special.
And that was one from what, 80s, 90s?
It was back in the 70s.
Oh, 70s.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you drive any of these or anything, or build them, or
I did for Bruce,
for Bruce? Okay.
but I just built motors.
Or you built motors?
Here's some pictures. One of our handouts. We had a few handouts left yet, but we were talking about the 4-engine.
Wow.
So there you go. You get all this. I'll get you a couple of these.
Oh, you
Other-
have, or even a copy of this would be great, because this isn't online anywhere.
They're excited about pulling. Did you catch it?
Here, let's do this. And get a whole shot of this, and then I'll finger out. I don't want to put this in mine,
No,
but then I'll.
you can have that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's got some more in there.
Really? Okay. Thank you. So what kind of stories you got for us, or like anything that like built the engines, and did you build chassis and stuff too? Like with
I
the-
modified them and stuff.
so that's one thing we were wondering about, like on these tractors, and Bud gave us a lot of insight into like how all that works, like how do you transfer all that power?
I wish I
Said there
had
was
the.
like an aluminum box, almost like a rear end, right?
Yeah, that's, you can tell. There's a box and for the back. Okay, these motors are crank to crank.
Mhm.
Okay, they're
Literal crank to crank.
literal crank to crank.
One starter or two starters?
Well, none of them have a starter on it,
Oh, you just do it off the blower?
off the blower. There'll be a clutch here behind the second motor. Okay. Okay, and then there's a cross box that these bell houses, these clutches, these side motors got clutches.
Mhm.
Okay, there's a box that's got headset gears off of a forward transmission, and they hook to these motors, the side motors, and they roll it all to the middle, and then there's an exposed gear that this motor sets down on,
Oh,
and
geez.
it's got a box that's built up. It's got three headset gears in it. And that transfers the weight down to this main cross box here, and everything's run off of one jar shaft.
How big
So-
are these gears? Are you talking that thick?
They're about like that, and about that big around. But they all. This box here is about that big a square. Okay, it's got shaft coming out all sides.
Mm-hmm. Like a rear end almost.
Yeah. Basically that's
That's what it is, huh?
what it is.
Altogether.
But there's a shaft that comes out the back that runs your wheels. But there's this cross box, and then there's, like I said, there's another box that stands on that the top motor hooks to.
That just
That's
drops
fine.
down into, and that connects it.
Yeah.
And he said there was belts in there that drove that sometimes. Were there?
I never saw any of those. We always use gears. Maybe,
It would just seem like the gears would be a lot stronger.
well, all of it breaks.
Oh.
Every bit of it. I don't care what you do to it, they break.
Is it pretty accessible? Like, how often would you break like that kind of stuff?
I've never seen one of the cross boxes break,
Really?
and most of the guys, before I got out of it, most of the guys, they were running those headset gears.
So did you drive any of these ever?
Not these, no. I run Bruce's a little bit.
And what did he have?
He had Chevrolets on there. He
Oh,
had
you have two or three?
Rodex. We had 5.
So you've driven a 5-engine
I've driven a 3.
3. I mean, what is that like? Is it just
It's a rush you wouldn't believe. There's
Yeah.
so much percussion off those motors. It is just unbelievable.
I can't imagine.
Okay, it's
And so you got hand throttle, right? And then you're steering it with your feet,
yeah.
and then your head is telling you when it starts going this way, you're turning the wheel. So we see some of them when they come down,
Yeah, but a lot,
kicks the tractor.
that's why a lot of them, they'll put a piece of tape on the steering wheel, and then all they gotta do is look down at the steering wheel. They know when the wheels are straight. If you come down with them crooked, you're gonna break the front end off.
That's what we see a lot too. 'Cause there's so much going on.
So if you
your
see
mind
if you see that
automatically-
piece of tape on the steering wheel, you know that's what it's for.
Okay.
Here you guys are.
Ooh. No way. That's awesome.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's cool.
Look at that.
I'll sell all of Steve's.
Well, trust me, I'm
So-
not going to sell them. I'm going to put mine together.
We'll have him come out and
Sign 'em.
sign the back. Wow, that's so cool. Thank you. It was
Now
neat
we're gonna
because when
get-
we went and found the blossoms, those guys
Oh,
didn't expect. They gave us like
what's that?
6 or 8 T-shirts. He gave me a banner from like the NTPA. Like I just
And who
kept
was
throwing
the,
stuff at us. They were
who
like
was the other guy
just
that?
the nicest people, you know. And
Who's
like,
the, who's the guy with the van?
oh, the Jews.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I had all that stuff. He goes, I gave all that. Here, you want that one? He
Just
gave
kept
all
getting
his.
stuff.
Yeah, he gave all his away.
That was Bruce's rig.
Ooh,
This was our original one we started with, the cab over, and then we went to the 379.
oh, that's the Miller.
No, that's
the-
a Carhartt.
Here, get a shot of this. Look at this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on YouTube, and then the whole world can see it. All this stuff. That's okay.
Yeah, he was sponsored
Steve
by
will have it.
Fisher
But our
Baker.
trailer was painted just like that.
Yeah, it looked like the same color, right?
Well, his was black.
Oh, I didn't see any pictures
You had it
of
set
his
gold
trailer.
It was
first.
gold.
Gold and then-
We have this picture.
Whoop.
Well, the big trailer was painted just like that. They had a, what was it, a 45-foot Kentuckian trailer? It was painted just like that.
I'll introduce you to Steve here if you want to just question him.
Yeah,
If
that'd
you'd
be
like
great.
to.
You got any other stories for us or anything?
Oh, go ahead.
So you built what? The motors for some of these? All
Yep.
of these? So we have this. I pulled this out of my own file. So I've had this for, geez, I don't know how long. 20, 30
The
years.
only ones,
maybe.
this, before we went to the new motor on this one. This one, we went to a new motor, he tried it out, it was, it ended up a 704 cubic inch, but it had dual overhead cams,
That's what he was talking about.
and it was a nightmare. But
Give
this,
it timed or what?
well, building, we used to have to get the machinist to the pulls
Oh,
to figure out how to cut the cams, to put the cams back. So we'd fly him to the pole, he would get out and listen to it and everything, and do his notes and go back and cut us a new set of cams, ready for the next pull.
would they wear out that fast or something?
No, it was just all test,
Oh, testing, getting it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because it never did, you couldn't get build enough RPMs out of it. But
Which
finally
is
they got
funny
it done.
because all the Ford motors now, when they're running those 4 cams, their RPMs are crazy, 9,500.
But this was just started out on the pole, you know.
Just
and
starting
then
out.
Then he run it for a year and they outlawed it, so. But these are 640 Aries. These are designed after the Hemi.
Yeah, so it's a big block Chevy style block, right? With a
Well,
Hemi
it's a
style head.
Chrysler block.
Oh, it was a Chrysler block.
Yeah,
Was it the same as the Top Fuel blocks
yep, basically yes.
and the heads too?
Uh,
I mean, this could almost be a
the top-
nitro motor, right?
The top fuel heads, they had 4 valves, or 4,
Oh,
2 spark plugs in
Yeah,
it,
that's true. Yeah.
and these only had 1. But these,
2 mags. So you guys got. Are you running a distributor or a mag?
we're just
on this?
running 1 mag. And these run on methane alcohol.
How much fuel would it burn in a run?
Each one of those motors would run, 300 foot would run about 7 gallons a piece.
Jeez.
And they were putting out about 2,400 horse.
Do you know where any of these are today?
I know where pieces of them are.
Pieces.
There are pistons and stuff back there. This one is in, it was in Farley, Iowa,
Oh, that's right. He told us about that.
and I don't know where the tractor went. This is up at Juneau,
What's Juno?
Wisconsin.
Really?
His buddy bought, Stuart Glander bought that.
Oh, let me write that down. So, did it get rebodied as something else, or is it still the S10?
It's, I think it's blue now. You know, they took the decals and everything off of it.
In Juneau, Wisconsin?
Mm-hmm.
And who owns it?
Stuart Glanders.
Okay, cool.
Now, he had it up for sale. I don't know if he got it sold or
Oh,
not.
really? It was up for sale?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what's funny? There was one out in Pittsburgh. I just got a hold of the Iron City Express. It's a black '79 Ford, and I just messaged. I just found out who it was because I'm going through all these old trucks and find out who owns them. Are they still around? Because we want to see them again. You know.
Hey, Barb,
And
would you give us the address of Woffers? Scott? Steve? Glander, I'm sorry.
I bought
That's-
the old Hoosier Hustler.
you
It
have
was
it?
I used to have it. That was one of the first two-wheel drives.
What was it?
65 Chevy.
See, I'm gonna put that. Is that still around?
No, long gone by now.
So what do you think these guys do with it? Do they just cut them out, get rid of them?
They run them as long as they can, and then
Sit in a
the
barn,
frames
maybe?
is all bent and everything, and re-welded it, so
And they
they're,
just
they're no
scrap
good
it.
for anything else.
Yeah.
Monkey bars for the kids.
So that was the truck you ran?
That I owned that for a while. What was his name? Ronnie Works.
It was a two-wheel drive
I'm
Two-wheel-
trying to remember.
I think his
everybody's
last name was
right now.
Works. Is the guy that owned it.
Didn't think you were
That's-
gonna get this
that's
much
back when-
information.
That's back when you would
cool.
go to the
Let's-
junkyard and grab a big block motor and stick it in it and go to the pulls.
So we're talking late 70s?
There you go.
Oh, early
sweet.
70s.
Oh, Juno, okay.
Yeah, that isn't far up.
Glander Transit.
She lives there.
He still got it, right?
Huh?
He still got yours, right?
What's that?
The ox.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said if you wanted to see it, it's sitting up on a shelf there
Well, you
somewhere.
want to see it, that's for sure. That's one thing we're doing, is like, we want to get the stories of the people. And then
Well, you
go-
know how
go
to get
see
to
the
Juneau?
trucks. No.
Go out 94 to 26
Okay.
and
26.
take 26 north, and that'll come into Juneau. And when you come into Juneau, you'll see a school on your right-hand side. Turn right there. And his is
His
the
garage is just up
first
on the
business
hill.
up on the left. Or you'll see a little daycare school. His is the next business.
See, this is the kind of stuff we're looking for, because we talk to you guys, now we talk to somebody else, and they got somebody else, and it's like, it's gonna be neat.
Here, you want to see Steve,
Because
if you want to
the neat
meet.
thing is, like, when we did the Blossom, every lot of comments come back, oh, I remember that. Everybody's loving seeing this stuff again.
You know what I saw on video last night is, remember when Gaines built the locomotive,
Yeah,
the Orange
tank,
Blossom
the
Special?
tank. It's in
Tank.
California right
He
now.
was he got up against Bob Chandler's Fast Tracks.
The helmet
They
came
were
off.
running it last night.
He hit the car so hard. I was just watching that one like 2 weeks ago. His helmet came off because he sat in the back and the leverage and
Yeah.
everything when he went flying up. That's why he didn't run that tank too much, because it was too much for him. And then I found the tank. The guy in California is restoring it right now. So kind of doing a little history and all this stuff, you know. So.
Yeah, you ever get down there in Kentucky, they're
Oh boy,
around Florence and Elizabethtown and everything there.
Georgetown.
Anybody knows Gaines.
Yeah, we were down there.
Yep.
He let us sit in it and everything. So yeah, we found the 4-wheel drive, the super modified, and the 2-wheel drive Ranger. We
Well,
found those.
you were pretty close to Wayne Sullivan,
Ooh, who's that?
the Kentuckian.
Oh yeah, I got him down too. The black triple engine.
Him and his dad and his
Well, he's
brothers.
one of the biggest for sure. Kentuckian. Wayne Sullivan.
Yeah, he's still going pretty strong, isn't he?
He's
Oh,
still
yeah.
running.
Yeah, he was at Toma.
I think he's running 5. Is it 5 engines he's
I
running now?
don't remember. I got to try to remember, but yeah, he's running everything.
So wasn't there a time when we saw 2 tractors that had 7 engines? It was Banner Brothers and
Tim Engler.
Angler, and then I guess they outlawed. Was it the weight that outlawed the 7?
I think so.
I think Tim come out with it first, didn't he? Or
Right.
did Dave?
Yeah, one of the two of them.
They were both at about the same time.
We're gonna look them up too, because they're one of them still running.
But
Which
he
one was
said,
it?
Steve knows. Steve said that which Banner? One of them had passed away.
That was,
Try to keep track of.
what was the other, Dave and what? What was the other's name?
Oh, I think you told me, Steve and.
I think the other one, I think Dave's still alive, I think the other one sort of passed.
Oh, did Jim and Dave?
Yeah, I think Jim's the one that
Walsh.
passed. Oh,
Are you
got-
talking
no,
Banner Brothers?
Banner Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I got them on my list. I got like a long list on my computer, like this kind of stuff with everybody's name and stuff.
Yeah, I think Dave's still living, the other, his brother passed.
Okay. So this is sort of how we found this. So we just got online, looked for stuff like, you know, and we found you guys are close to us. We're only about an hour and a half from here. So I just, and then that's neat was when you get in the comments, you get some names, and then the people in the comments say, yeah, I know who that was. That this guy had it, you know. And then we found out you guys had the blue. I didn't know you had the truck too.
Different name.
The old
Yeah.
Blue International, that was online for sale here a while back.
Oh,
Oh, his old truck.
His old Blue International,
That's what-
Avenir.
Like where would they? Is there a pulling site that sells this stuff specifically, or just you happen to see it?
I just happened to see it.
yeah.
Do you know if it was? Oh, it would have been
Steve
a
might
golden
know.
ox then, right? It was.
No, probably Blue Ox.
It was, I think it was a Blue Ox, yeah. And it
So
it just a
was there
roller
two of these? Two of these trucks, just one?
Just one.
And then you had the body
From a Dodge.
on here,
Mhm.
right? So then did somebody put this international body back on there and try to sell it? Like
I don't know.
that
Could
would-
have.
That's. And then we had these. Which is
Those
neat.
are old ones when we built it like Shawls.
And that-
3
the-
engine.
The new truck is all two-frame.
Yeah, I
The,
showed them that. You could just
the
see it
S10.
on the one picture. You could see all
Yeah,
the
this
tube.
down
Yeah.
here.
Outhouse Engineering built that.
Outhouse engineer.
That was the name of it.
Yeah. He was quite well known
It was,
around here
It
for,
was quite the setup. Nobody ever saw anything like it.
Are they still around? Outhouse engineering?
I don't know if they
I'll have
are.
to look that
I'd
up.
say they are.
I think
They,
he is.
they,
Yeah.
they build sprint cars.
Oh, sprint cars?
Yeah.
Move the conversation in here to eat your lunch because.
He said, yeah, this
We
worked
have
for
to leave
sprint
in
cars.
20
It should
minutes
work for
with
tractor
that.
pulling.
That sounds like he's got a good gun.
So I came in here.
You just went to the shop.
They built the,
Don't come back.
which one was it?
The,
Oh, the two frame.
the two-frame ox, the four-wheel drive.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to like
You
go
should,
home and sit down.
you should see his basement.
All kinds of cool stuff.
His basement is, it's a big ranch house, but his basement is, I mean, just packed full of just toys.
Oh, really? He's got a bunch up front too. Is it all from Poland or
Those
just?
are from the trucks, the semis, done truck
Oh,
shows.
from the truck shows.
Those over at his house is all from his pulling.
Really?
Yep. He's probably still got his first fire suit.
See, that kind of stuff's neat, you know?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see that stuff. Oh, man. Well, this is so is Steve available too?
What do I push?
It's already running, so. here,
Okay,
let's take a
oh,
picture with
okay.
him.
Wait,
See
I'll
Derek
go
in
a
there?
little bit around. Yeah, everybody's in there.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Good?
Yep. Yeah, we'll pull a picture off of that.
Okay, yeah.
Here you go.
I'm a goofball.
You can give him all your extra